example, because that mature masculine archetype is represented. If you've watched Lord of the Rings, Gandalf is the wizard, the magician, the Merlin in Arthurian legends, and he is indeed a master of channeling energies from fireworks in the mundane world. No, he's a scientist. Um, that is what characterizes the magician. He is more of a thinker. It's a thinking archetype. You know, you gotta ask yourself, what does it take to embody the archetype of the magician as a mature masculine man? So, as the book stated, it originates the foundations of the magician archetype are precocious precocious children. It's like those kids who are like mature for their age, quote unquote. Those are the foundations of being, you know, in a magician archetype tradition or heritage or blood. You can say that it is. And so the magicians, as far as society, early societies were concerned, they were the shamans. They are, you got the king, right? You got the chieftain, the king archetype, and then you got the shaman. The shaman works with the king to keep the population healthy. The shaman, the magician, the witch doctor, they have the knowledge passed on through traditions. Before written word, it was passed through word of mouth. They do the initiations, they do the transformative processes involved, whether it is spiritually for kids who are coming of age or coming to adulthood, the rite of passage. There's a ritual involved with that, and that's where the magician slash shaman slash wizard come in. So as far as description, you may have gotten it by now. You know what kind of mindset you have to have that. You have that archetype. We all have that archetype in our subconscious, and we gotta recognize it to be able to harness it and inhabit it in times where it is needed. Again, the reason why I want to share this, I want to teach this, because it helped me get my thoughts in order, my actions in order when a given situation, manifests in front of me. And so learning how to be your own uh, manifestation of the magician archetype when called for, it takes practice as well. You know, the magician slash shaman, of course, it is like a library. It's a human library of information, because as a foundation of the social order, the chief magician like works side by side with the king, while the king, the king archetype, the center of it all, while the king takes makes uh, the territory the physical manifestation. It is the magicians, on the other hand, that deals with the spiritual side of uh, the spiritual side of nature of the population, the moral, the taboos. They that's that they deal with that. And on some early civilizations, the magicians served as, of course, the readers of the stars. The first ones to do astrology were the magician archetypes. The earliest magicians of cities, that old cities, and until now, maybe some primitive, not really, I don't like that sound, like primitive, quote unquote, but to be technical about it, like primitive or um olden olden civilizations, like for example the Igorots of a mountain province here in the Philippines. They are a very old civilization, pre-Hispanic. They have their own social order, and their magician, their community healer, their community doctor, the shaman, their priest, who also leads like a harvest festivals, who tells when to plant and when to harvest, who knows the movement of the stars. It's the Mumbaki. He's also the medicine man, who he knows about a lot about roots and plants that heal. And in times of war, in collaboration with the warrior archetypes, the chief warriors of the community, then of course, with the magician's knowledge of potions and magical potions, that can, you know, for example, increase the warriors, uh, you know, capabilities during combat in times of war. So, they give the warriors medicine slash drug. So not only that, when it comes to other mumbakis and medicine men, the Igorots have that mumbakis. That's their village doctor. So they also lead like the ceremonies. So like, for the funerals, and where to bury it, how to how to behave morally, what's the uh you know spiritual, essentially also priests. So they're like priests and doctors combined in one, like science and religion stuff in one person. So those are the characteristics of the magician archetype. You can remember. If you could remember those, then good. You can keep those notes into heart and just like behave like one. Of course, to embody it is to behave it. Now that we have like a picture of what past magicians look like, that we can try to emulate and use for our own everyday practical lives, then that's good. So, for example, some situations call for the embodiment of the magician archetype. So, like for example, if there's an aggressive situation, there's like an alarming situation. There's no there that that's that calls for the warrior archetype. You have to stay vigilant. It's a whole different mode of being. But if you want to be in the mode of being of the magician, of course, you got to be insightful first. Being a magician, then you won't even be there in the first place if you know that it's it's a dangerous place, or it's a dangerous situation. You have that insight, you have your contemplation and your knowledge of the science and the religion, so that makes you, powerful. You can tap into that. You can tap into that. Think about your ancestors, who and your ancestors have. You remember like your grandfather, or even your other family members. It will run in your blood, and if you can tap it properly, then it can help you improve your workflow. Like being a magician is also like, if you think about it, you can be, if you're tech savvy, you're kind of a magician because you can manipulate energies of the internet, and you can make something happen with the machine, with the computer, you can code with software. It takes a lot of really masterful information to be able to do what you do and do what you're good at. So when you're manifesting that, when you're tapping into the energy of the magician, then that can happen to you. Of course, you can also, it does not stand alone. It works in synergy with the other archetypes, the king archetype, the warrior archetype, and the lover archetype. Of course, the artist magicians. Like there's literal magicians in the kitchen, like really doing, tapping into their magician imaginative brains and creativity with the lover mixed in. So it's like you can do such creations and create good things if you tap into the archetype spirit or archetype energy within your subconscious. So it will take practice. You have to meditate on it, and you'll have to be able to practice it and remember it and live it. That's what I did. I lived it. Ever since I've read the book, I've practiced every day about it. I've remembered the information that for some situations, it's the magician you can rely on and tap into. In some situations, you gotta be tapping into the king, the central archetype, if for matters that need, better judgment and being wise, making wise decisions. And so that's it. That's it for the magician archetype. There's a shadow side, of course, of the magician archetype according to the book, and it's like the manipulative, uh, well, master manipulator. That's the shadow side one. And then on the other hand, it's the just the detached dark magician. I mean, sorry, it's the detached manipulator. That's the one shadow side of the magician, and the other one is the dark magician, quote unquote. The dark magician shadow is are magicians who are possessed by the dark magician. Their talents they use for bad stuff. They use to commit crime, not not use it for the glory of the light. And the other one, the detached manipulator, yeah, super intelligent but detached. So, mostly alone and like likes to manipulate things, and it has this like egomaniacal aspect to it that you should be aware of if you want to tap into the magician archetype. Because, as I've said, there's also a shadow side to these latent energies lying within our own psyche. And so you gotta be really careful about it, and you gotta be really, really serious about it. Because if you don't exercise it, if you just keep on forgetting it, if you don't have the discipline to remember, then you will lose it. You will lose the power of your ancestors in your blood. You didn't know that, it lies within you and can change your life for the better. Can make you work better, longer. You know, just with mindset, with tapping into these energies. So read the book again, learn more about it, and that's it for this episode. I hope I was able to provide my take on, my understanding of that archetype. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Leave a voice message, or yeah, you know what to do. You can find me on other platforms. So yeah, see you around. No goodbyes.